All right, everybody. Hey, welcome to episode 10 of Joystick Maverick. We made it! Woo, 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 woo. Hopefully that didn't just blow your ears or your speakers in your car. It's me, Ernie Hawkins, joined, as always, by Dominic Irvin. And this week, we're finally making this person real. He really does exist. We're not just made up in our minds. Michael Mahaffey, thank you, and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for effectively shitting on me for 10 episodes straight, or 9 episodes straight.
It's combative.
You make it real easy when you look homeless.
Well, I mean, I
it's
should
a
probably
choice,
put
okay?
sheets up in my room, okay? So I don't. Everybody knows I have aluminum foil and breadcrumbs, but at least Mahaffey's got some class.
Well, I'm waiting for this green sheet to fall down for you all to see the stockpile of. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
There's just
that's
a
what we're doing
back there, just like leather mask and everything.
Ball gag. Yeah.
Awesome. That's my favorite. That's weird that I said that. Okay. Well, hey, so how's everybody doing? How's everybody's week? Everybody having a better week than John McAfee?
He didn't kill himself. I'm saying that right now. Man did not commit suicide.
Are you sure? I don't know. Is this a conspiracy already? I didn't know that was up for debate.
Well, I heard today. Now I didn't verify, so this could be complete and utter bullshit. That he got a tattoo, and wrote a statement about the tattoo saying that if he's found dead, he did not commit suicide.
I'm sorry, but if you tell me right now that he legit put there, hey, it was Epstein, and
that was not the tattoo, but that was the statement that went along with the tattoo. Like I said, I didn't verify it. I got to look it up.
Sweet. Well, I'm definitely not looking at a tattoo of that guy. I don't want to get flagged. I like flying on flights in the East United States. I think my searches are always pretty questionable anyways, even not on my own personal computer, but not on my work one. Sorry, coworkers that may watch this show. But no, man, that's... I mean, you hear all the stuff he's been up to over the years. You knew something was going to catch up with that guy. Yeah. I mean, he's made a shit ton of enemies,
Oh yeah.
So it's not all bad, You guys also get to hear the audio from the release of Free Britney's court reading for Britney Spears.
That's fucked up, dude.
Yeah, evidently her conservatorship was in court, discussion about it, and she got to basically read. You can tell she was reading, and it's just audio that's come out, but she's basically saying she's been taking lithium and all this kind of stuff and basically living this kind of she called slavery lifestyle for the past 13 years or so. And her last store, I think she made $130 million and wasn't able to spend any of it. What a life.
That's worth killing over to me. If you give me $130 million, you say I can't spend any of it because some other person has conservatorship, whatever the hell, dude, then I'm going to jail.
I have to. I'm going to be right there with you, man. Because, and I think that's kind of what makes me think though. Is it, what side of that coin do you look at? Do you look at she was kind of a little bit loopy, a little crazy, or do you really bear down into the fact that she straight up was kind of being forced into this situation? She was saying that she was being pumped with lithium and things of that nature. So that's nuts, man. And also has an IUD against her will, and she can't even go out and just hang with the boyfriend if she wants or something like that. That whole situation is
it's insane.
Yeah.
Moral of the story: don't shave your head and go crazy.
or give all the reasons up front before you shave your head.
Right, before you do that, give all the reasons up front. Yes, absolutely.
What's that? The movie Heavyweights. He's like, don't let anybody sign your checks. It's basically the same thing for her though. She's just letting her dad sign all of her checks. All right, so let me transition our screen here. So the first big topic this week for State of Gaming, we're going to be talking about Dark Alliance. So I don't know if you guys can see my screen. That's great. So I haven't actually played this game. I don't really know too many of the details. Dom, why don't you kind of introduce this? Is this part of the list that you put together this week?
Yeah, so I haven't played it either. I was really close to just pulling the trigger and buying the game, and then all the reviews came out, and it's getting panned as not a great game. But essentially, Dark Alliance is based off of Dungeons and Dragons and Forgotten Realms, the books. You're talking about hundreds of books at this point. And the big thing for me was that I'm a big fan of Forgotten Realms and that universe and world building, and I was really excited to play a 4-player co-op game that did that, but apparently it's not very good. I will say, Mike, you played Forgotten Realms, or you played Dark Alliance though.
I did. I played through the tutorial on the first mission, and I was like Dom. I was super stoked to play this game because over the pandemic, I got into watching D&D, like actual play D&D streams, specifically Dimension 20. I looked at Critical Role.
That's a great stream. That dude, his voice.
Brendan Lee Mulligan is one of the best, if not the best.
What's that one character? Riskasgag.
Yeah, Riskasgag. And then what was his romance partner? I can't remember.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I was super stoked for this. And then it came out. I saw it was getting panned, but it was on Game Pass, so I downloaded it.
Oh, it's on Game Pass?
Yeah.
Fuck, I'll play it.
Yeah.
No, it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. So I downloaded it. And the first big red flag was that it is 4-player co-op, but one of those players is Drizzt. How do you pronounce it, Dom?
Do'Urden,
who has books upon books upon books written about this one character. So I think out of probably, and this is arguable, but out of all the D&D characters that are in the lore, he's probably the most famous.
Yeah,
and he's a rogue. So I think he's a rogue in the game. So why would you put any other characters in the game?
Just make a game about him.
Just make a single-player, third-person action game about Drizzt.
His whole story, it's like soup to nuts, is like one of the coolest stories in that kind of high fantasy. Like, he's a drow, which is a dark elf who lives underground. They worship a spider queen. He can see at night. There's like this caste system where like you have to fight to survive, and then you go to battle school. Shit's dope. They should have just made a game about him. Yeah. But he's in the game, so I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm down to play. Didn't know it was on Game Pass, so I will play it.
And it's fine. It's not terrible. It's a like a smash and grab looter essentially. One of the mechanics is you can once you clear an area of enemies, you can take what's called a short rest, but you have 30 seconds, I believe, to enable that short rest. And if you don't, all the loot that you collect throughout the level has a chance to be better quality. So it would go from common to uncommon to epic. And you have multiple short rests through the level. So if you skip all of them, you can get potentially the best gear for that level by the end. And each level has 6 or 7 different difficulty rankings. So like there's a lot of replayability. The gameplay mechanics are a little loose for me. I like really tight game mechanics. And the story is kind of a run-of-the-mill fantasy story.
It also looks mad shitty.
It's honestly it's fine. Like we'll probably end up talking about this later, but all the titles that have come out for the new next/current generation PS5, Xbox Series X, they don't feel like next gen games. They feel like last gen games. So it is what it is. If you enjoy that fantasy kind of setting, if you enjoy Dungeons and Dragons, give it a shot. It's on Game. If you have an Xbox, absolutely give it a shot. It's free. Well, it's free with your subscription.
Nice.
Or play Diablo 3.
Or play Diablo 3.
Or play Diablo 3. So Dom, your next topic in here, and actually, I kind of am interested in what it is, but I really wish I knew. What is the new, I guess, the revival of an old IP for EA? I'm trying to think of most of the EA properties that I recall, and this is before Electronic Arts shortened to EA, was like sports related. What is their elusive big IP, or is this like a teaser? Like we're gonna be doing it?
No, so there's a lot of this going around. So EA announced that they're doing their EA Days of Play or whatever they're calling it in July, which is essentially their E3 conference. They didn't go to E3; they're going to do their E3 conference. But they said we're bringing back a fan favorite IP. So as soon as you say that, fan speculation runs wild. A few of like the key kind of maybe it's these Dead Space has been talked about a lot. Dead Space, one of the best survival horror games that has ever been made of all time. One game to really truly scare the shit out of me.
One game to rule them all.
Right.
One game that truly made me laugh as hard as I possibly could at 3 a.m.
That's right. I do remember that when we were doing the achievement videos way back in the day.
Way back in the day.
It's been so long.
But Dead Space is one. We know it's not Mass Effect because they're already doing stuff with Mass Effect. It's not anything Star Wars related. It's probably not Madden. They've already talked about NCAA football coming back. It could be Jade Empire, which was BioWare's other IP that they did when they were doing KOTOR. And now that I say it could technically be KOTOR, which would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Knights of the Old Republic got revived. They have Star Wars: The Old Republic that is already coming out now.
Jesus, KOTOR. I'm sorry. You said KOTOR, and my brain hemorrhaged. I was like, "What the fuck is KOTOR?" Especially when like you may have to were like, "Oh yeah, KOTOR." And I'm just like, I got nothing on that shit. And then you said Knights of the Old Republic, and a very far distant bell was rung. And I was like, yes.
Ernie,
I believe an MMORPG with you guys was Knights of the Old Republic,
and we downloaded the beta.
Yeah,
at work.
Yes, we did. Oh my
Don't tell anybody. I mean, so if they revive that, dude, I'd sign me up.
I would lose my mind. KOTOR is amazing. What a good game.
I think
I'm excited. Dead Space, I'm happy.
I think the fan speculation right now is Dead Space.
Yeah.
But and that's because there was an industry insider who made like an offhanded comment saying, it'll be revealed or we'll reveal it or something like that unless we're dead first or something to those words.
Yeah.
So people latched on to the word dead, and I think that we need to learn a lesson from WandaVision that we can't just pluck terms out of space,
right,
or ideas out of space and run with them. I mean, it's fun.
It's great.
Yeah, but if we
Jason Todd is Jared Leto's Joker, so I mean,
yep, Mephisto.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but how could he have worked like the words Knights and Old and Republic into a sentence very casually?
Sure. Yeah.
If we don't grow old first, I don't know. That would be sweet.
I would love to have been knighted by a Republic. You're like, what?
Well, and it could have easily been him referring to the idea that they're just starting development on something. It would take a long time to come out. So if they're not dead first, they'll get to actually play this game. But he's come out and said, "Hey, you guys are hitching your post on the wrong thing here. This is not what we were implying." So I still hope it's Dead Space, but it's not looking likely. I love Dead Space.
I love Dead Space. It's probably Madden.
You think?
Oh, yeah. They've already released that, I think, recently. There's a Madden 22 just came out, right, with Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady on the front and all that.
Oh, it could be NBA Live. Those took a couple years off.
What if it's like NBA Street?
I'm in. If it's NBA Street, I'm equally as happy as if it was Dead Space.
Be awesome.
NBA Street is like NBA Jam for millennials, dude. That shit is amazing.
I love that.
I mean, oh yeah. All right. So next on our list here is talking about the question that we're all been asking: where are the games for PS5 and Xbox? I mean, I've heard a couple of exclusives, but I mean, it's really not. I mean, we're over a year later. These things have been out, right? I mean, or at least we're past a year.
We're almost a year, I think, at this point, or a couple months out from a year. They both came out in November.
So where are the games?
I played Destiny 2 on my PlayStation 5.
That is not no.
That is the only game.
That is not a play. No. So
I bought a PS5 to play Destiny 2.
I have talked to Dom about this a little bit, but it's crazy to me that the only games I think, and I don't have an exhaustive list of games that have come out since the new consoles have launched. But the only games that I've played that have actually felt next gen are Miles Morales, and Ratchet and Clank.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Well, that's fair.
And nothing for Xbox.
And nothing for Xbox.
Not one game for Xbox has felt next gen.
Now, that being said, Game Pass is the best deal going on.
Yeah.
Period. Full stop.
Agreed. But I'm with you. There's not been anything for Xbox that has screamed next gen. Now, don't get me wrong. Forza Horizon 5 looks next gen.
Forza definitely. Forza
Halo
always
Infinite.
looks next gen.
Halo Infinite looks next gen. Actually, Halo Infinite looks current gen, but it's going to be awesome. Starfield will be next gen, but
Yeah.
True.
Eh.
True.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Starfield looks good.
I mean, we didn't see. I mean, they don't have gameplay footage yet. And how long until? I mean, they said 2022, right? For
They
that game,
did, which is a surprise.
I mean, with Bethesda's track record,
That'll come out in 2024.
it'll definitely no. It'll come out in 2022, but it won't be fixed till 2024
It won't work. Yeah,
if it gets fixed.
right.
I'm looking at you, Fallout 76 in West Virginia.
EA could bring back Anthem, a beloved IP that is not.
Nice.
What do you got
Next
up? What you got there, bud?
In this coffee? Where?
Yeah, anything good?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's coffee. It's
Oh, it's
decaf
just
coffee in my Apple mug.
that's like going to a strip club, dude. I'm not drinking decaf coffee.
In my
I don't have a
Apple
choice.
mug,
I
not
dropped
the
caffeine.
brag.
Yeah,
Oh,
hey
there you
man,
go.
you know, whatever.
Nice flex. I'll be honest. I'm actually really butthurt. I know all the stuff I ever got from Apple that was like a cup or a container, my parents have. It's like, thanks. How did you manage to steal that from me? Like, I don't know. You're so
I got a
learned to drink
hydro
coffee.
flask when I went back for 2 weeks.
There you go.
That's awesome.
All right. So the next topic, I haven't really heard much. Segue. Speaking of Hydro Flask, let's talk about not that. Abandoned from Blue Box Games Studios. I guess there's some controversy around this Mahaffey. They whether or not it's another Silent Hill game. Given this little terribly fucking pixelated screenshot I've got up here, it looks a little bit more like a GoldenEye sequel than anything, because of just the hand mechanics. But so what's going on with this game?
So apparently, Abandon showed. I don't know if they showed anything, but they were talking about a new IP that they were bringing out. People instantly grasped onto it and thought it was Silent Hill. Refer back to my earlier comments about grabbing onto random words and putting together theories. The studio head of Blue Box has come out and said it's not Silent Hill. Like, relax.
Yeah.
It's a game called Abandoned.
They're going to sue us
Silent
if
Hill.
you guys don't shut the fuck up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean that's all I really know about it. If it were a new Silent Hill, I'd be all about it. For a guy who hates horror, I watch and play a lot of horror games, so I don't know, man. Like what was the
Slenderman.
no, not Slenderman. The
Five Nights at
The
Freddy's.
flashlight.
No.
7 pages. 7 pages.
No, keep going.
Mist.
Well, that's not a horror game, but keep going.
Fatal
Is it a
Frame.
horror game? No,
Fatal Frame.
no. It's the one that's on the gold collection for PlayStation.
Clock Tower.
Until Dawn.
Damn.
You guys were so close. That
I
game
never would have gotten that with $1 million.
We could have been here for days.
Yeah, Last of Us.
not a horror game. No matter what you think, The Last of Us is definitely not a horror game. It's body gore, I would say, more than anything else. But yeah, I loved Until Dawn. So whatever, I mean, Abandoned looks fantastic. Like I'm probably gonna get it
So
right out of the gate.
we're bringing up Silent Hill. Let's talk a little bit about Hideo Kojima, because we're going to talk about him a little bit later with Death Stranding PC. But Hideo Kojima. So did any of you play PT, the demo?
No.
Okay. So PT was like his concept demo for Silent Hills, and individual that we work with, who also has a podcast, Free Cheese, he just brought me into the tinfoil hat, like, conspiracy theory, just a deep dive of all the symbolism in PT about Hideo Kojima and Konami's relationship. Like, there is a whole fucking thing about it. It's insane. If you ever have about an hour of your life where you just don't know what you want to do, look up Hideo Kojima PT like symbolism. Shit's insane. It's like the baby represents Death Stranding or Silent Hills, and like the phone call represents a phone call that Hideo Kojima had with Konami, where Konami told him to fuck off. It's insane. It's so insane. But when you watch it, you're like, "Ooh, that makes sense." But yeah.
Ooh.
Blue Box is dope. I played Until Dawn. I got through like about a half hour of it before I had to turn on the lights and watch My Little Pony. But because I'm just a big old chicken when it comes to scary games.
Oh, don't get me wrong. It has to be full daylight, noon preferable, with all the shades open, and you know.
Speaking of scary games, Ernie, have you been able to get past the motion bullshit in Resident Evil 8?
Oh,
Nope.
What a great game. You got it.
Nope.
You got to just power through it. Look, Ernie, look me in the eyes. Look me in the eyes.
That's what I tell my wife all the time. You just got to power through it. Look at me in the eyes.
I get motion sick with games too, and usually it takes me, I don't know, a week and a half to like just suck it up
way
and just
out
go.
is through.
Yeah, essentially.
I mean,
it's not. And Village is amazing.
I brought these home from the hospital after Michelle gave birth, and they're little throw-up
I know
bags.
that is. Yep.
These are awesome. So I might just have to just totally be ready to go.
I thought it was a condom. I was like, dude, my man's packing.
I wish, brother. I wish. I'm wonderfully average. Wonderfully average. It's nice and straight as an arrow, but you know, average. Moving right along. All right, this weekend coming soon, we got a whole bunch of new stuff coming up. The first one I want to talk about, though, is what I consider an upgrade. An upgrade this week is from Shazam to the big suits that have been revealed this week. So the original suits, they had the light-up lightning bolt on the chest. I'm glad to see they've got most of the original actors for the adult versions of all the different Shazam family members, except for Mrs. Marvel, who was actually the same actress who plays the child version. She just, is older now, so that works. These suits are badass.
They look good.
Yep,
they're dope.
It looks like it doesn't look like Zachary Levi has pillows, like a body pillow stuffed in his suit this time. It looks like that's his actual body.
Like he's had time to actually work out and hit
like
the right mass.
Awkward-looking Jack person I've ever met. Like, because like I think Zachary Levi, I think of like Chuck. And he was like scrawny and Chuck. And like Chris Hemsworth, for example, okay? Chris Hemsworth, when he's like, ripped, looks ripped. Like he's supposed to look ripped. Zachary Levi looks like he's a scrawny kid trapped in a strong man's body. Did she have controversial comments on Twitter? Because that's typically how that happens.
Actor who plays Mary, she's just old enough to be the superhero version of herself. So Michelle Borth, I believe that's how you pronounce it, was playing Mary, superhero Mary in the first film, and she's unfortunately not going to play superhero Mary in this one.
The dude in the middle next to Zachary Levi, is that dude from 13 Reasons Why?
Is it? Wait, what?
Somebody
season one?
Give you this.
I've only watched season one.
I'm just trying to figure out who watched the show. I caught Mike. Mike watched the show.
Yeah, man. Look. I am too old to be ashamed of what I watch.
Listen, we're gonna start shaming people. I'm gonna point out with Adam Brody over here on the left. My guy from the OC is now in a superhero movie. That's crazy. I mean, granted, I think as the more older he's gotten, the more like his dickhead tendencies have come out. But it's perfect for this character. Like, it just
the only other movie I've ever seen him in was Jennifer's Body.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was the dude at the beginning of Jennifer's Body.
He was in Mr. and Mrs. Smith as well. He was the person. That
Oh,
was
that's
supposed to be
right.
killed
He
by them.
was.
Yeah.
I
Just a
actually get
random
him and Zachary
intern.
Levi mixed up. I don't know why.
Easily mixed. Now, the funny thing
Yeah.
is, both those shows, The OC and Chuck, were created by the same creator. So that would be
Really?
a nice parallel. It's why the both shows have the same ringtone for the phones.
Oh, cool.
Really?
Fun facts. That's why you come here to Joystick Maverick, all two of our viewers.
And that creator was Dan
I've seen
Harmon.
4.
Yeah. Community. Actually, so rolling into the DC superhero kind of train here, we're going to look at another suit, but we're going to look at it respectfully. Supergirl.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
It's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never seen abs do this though. Just like diamond shape in different directions.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
Kryptonian thing.
well,
yeah.
that's the thing that stood out to me too. But I think that's all going to be smoothed out in post. A lot of people were confused about whether she was going to have a cape or not.
That's the
I
thing
am
about
99%.
right?
Yeah, 99% sure she's going to have a cape, and it's just going to be added later.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you get the perfect flows that Zack Snyder is known for. Is like everything's half digital. But no, I think she looks awesome in the costume. She looks like she prepared a little bit for the role. She definitely has pillows in these arms. That's not the shape of a normal bicep right there when you're just kind of relaxed.
I'm really
not
happy
that I
you
would
said
know. I said bicep. My cursor is on the outside of her body, respectfully.
No, I'm with you. I'm trying. Look, you and I were like this right now, okay? You and me, buddy. Arms.
I'm married. I'm happily married. Father of a young
Me too.
girl.
We all are.
You know what this lady is? Somebody's daughter. You know, we're gonna respect her.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
You have one now.
Exactly. Now
That's right.
I can't go to strip clubs ever again. I just got
Ever.
somebody's daughter up there. But I do like the little bit of the reveals we've been getting from the Twitter. It's definitely exploding. A little bit of detail from the Superman S. We got the detail from the Flash emblem. It's definitely different than all the other suit iterations we've seen for the Flash, where it looks more like, as it was referenced in Justice League, kind of the ceramic for when they, a space shuttle re-enters atmosphere, instead of having what it looks like kind of cables to help channel the electricity, that kind of stuff. It was a little bit more reminiscent of just kind of like a molded version of that. So I'm curious to see how that plays into not just the I'll call it present day Flash outfit, but also that nightmare realm Flash outfit where you just had the whole helmet and everything. And then of course the 1989 version of the Batman emblem from Michael Keaton, awesome. I mean, even awesome. The ab is still ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like abs don't
They don't do that.
This whole movie just doesn't get abs, but that's all right.
Can someone explain me what this fucking movie is, though? Like, the more that comes out about the Flash movie, the more that makes me excited. The fact that it's just a Justice League movie with all my favorite people of the Justice League.
Sure.
I don't understand. Like, Batman's in it, but like 4 different Batman are in it, and then like Supergirl's in it, and then like
Flash. But which Supergirl? We don't know.
Right, we don't know.
I mean, it could be Kara,
right,
because the open pod in Man of Steel, when he found the Kryptonian ship, there was an open pod there, so we all speculate that was Supergirl's pod. She was on the ship when it came to Earth. So is this her? Maybe not. Is this a multiverse version of Supergirl? Is this the Injustice version of Supergirl? My favorite version of Supergirl is Red Lantern version, but I don't.
Yo, Red Lantern Supergirl is so dope. Or Batman Who Laughs Supergirl.
Sure,
it's pretty dope too.
And then there's a version of the Supergirl that's actually Superman's daughter, right? She's got this short hair, kind of a similar suit, and when Superman's wicked old. So I mean, I'd love to see like a super aged Henry Cavill. He'd be like Old Man Hank, sort of.
I'd like to see Henry Cavill regardless.
I keep inviting him on Instagram. He keeps not coming in our stream, but weird, right? I don't know why he doesn't want to show up and just shoot this shit with us. Let me see. Our next topic.
Are we excited about Flash? Like, I know there's a lot of controversy regarding Ray Fisher
and Ezra Miller.
And Ezra Miller.
We forget about that a lot.
She asked for it apparently.
I don't think
you can't say that.
Has never been good.
No.
Yeah. She
and I'm a little
always ends in a lawsuit.
and this week Warner Brothers has been kind of showing their colors by doing issuing copyright strikes to people who showed the Suicide Squad trailer. So I'm a little iffy on. Yeah, some channels got taken down for like a week.
They're showing them. Wow.
Yeah,
And
so I know
the next
this is
two topics are going to be not shown on this screen.
No, I'll wait until we get to that. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
It's the next two topics. The first one is Titans season 3 trailer. So I mean, it's still WB, and same thing with the Suicide Rain trailer. We're just going to talk about them. We're just going to discuss them.
So the Suicide
watch Titans.
Yes,
you both did.
Yeah.
All of it.
So production value wise, Titans is dog shit.
Yeah, it's no good.
Like the one scene where Dick Grayson's jumping out the Wayne Manor, and it's the worst CG I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. Story wise, I'm in. It's good. Sweet.
Exactly.
I mean, there are missteps like at the end. Spoiler alert for season 2. I think it's season 2 when Wonder Girl,
Donna Troy,
she gets electrified or something, like electrocuted. I
didn't know that Wonder Woman could get, or Wonder Girl could get electrocuted.
That's a vulnerability I didn't know about, but that's weird. Anyway, the stories in general, the story's good. And having an older Batman in there, I like it.
I like the guy that plays the Batman too. That plays
Thrones.
Yeah, he's great.
He is great.
I think my favorite scene is in like the nightmare for Dick Grayson in season 1. Towards the end, he's basically a cop again, and they're storming Wayne Manor, and Batman's like just fucking killing everybody. Like that is the best. I mean, even the quick snatch was better than Justice League's quick snatch, where he's just like gone. You're like, oh shit! Like this is what you imagine Batman's movements in the comic are like, but now in physical form. And granted, you never see his face, but I would watch a show where Batman's only ever seen of snatching people out of the darkness. I would never have to see his face. I don't have to hear any dialogue. I would just be like, oh, looks like Batman got another bad guy. Oh. Week after week, I'd watch that shit. But season 3 looks like it's going to be talking a little bit more about the Joker, so that's coming out in the trailer. I'll describe it to you. Hopefully, that doesn't get us any DMCA's. But you get to see Jason Todd. He's at this carnival. We don't know if it's whether a flashback or not, but it's clearly the Joker with the crowbar beating the shit out of somebody in the ground. We're assuming it's Jason Todd as Robin getting the life beat out of him before he turns into the Red Hood. I hate to say it, but like to me, what defined the transition between Jason Todd's Robin to Red Hood was a height difference. Drastic height difference.
So Jason Todd is really short in the TV show.
Red Hood is not going to work for me.
And Red Hood is jacked and tall.
You got to be this tall to ride the Red Hood.
Is it Curran Walters? He's tiny.
Yeah. I mean, no offense to him. I understand it's something he can't control, but I mean, Central Casting could have done something for the guy. Just like you get a stunt double in here. See if Matt Ballmer's free on Tuesdays.
Oh, dude, Matt Ballmer, he'd be good in anything.
Or shit, man. Oh well, if he wasn't already about to becoming a character on season 3 of The Boys, get what's his name?
Jensen Ackles, who played Red Hood.
Yeah, he voiced him. He's already. It's right there. It's right there. Yeah. But what can we do?
But in the comics, though, wasn't there a pretty major time difference between Jason Todd's exit, and Red Hood's introduction?
Right, very long Lazarus pit. I'm a monster, and then he goes back as Red
Then he went crazy for a little while, and
So this show, I'm excited for season 3. I mean, they've already announced casting for Babs, so Barbara Gordon's going to be in it. We don't know if she's going to be Oracle or Batgirl.
Yeah, this is pre-bullet or post-bullet?
Pre-bullet or post-bullet?
There's a very
pre-killing joke or post-killing joke? Shit. Who else got announced? There's someone else that got announced. I can't remember. There was someone else from that family. Not Todd. Who was the third Rob? Tim Drake.
Tim Drake?
Yeah, Tim Drake got announced. Yeah.
For Titans?
Nice. Yeah.
All right.
How old is this
because
one? Like
Batman's gonna have to have a Robin because Jason Todd becomes the Red Hood.
I can't wait for like the bold choice of some show to be like, you know what, we're gonna actually cast the Boy Wonder, and it's gonna be a 9-year-old just killing people, especially for like Damian Wayne. Just
if they got a 9-year-old Damian Wayne just with a sword,
he's just doing gymnastics and just slicing people's heads off.
Hell yeah,
it'd be awesome.
And
then
if
I'd be
you
like,
watch
all right,
Young Justice, the animated show, yeah, dude, that's the gold standard for me to how to do Titans. Like, you start with the young ones with Dick Grayson as Robin and everything, and then through the season's progression, Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing. Tim Drake becomes Robin. They go to was it Nanda Parbat, and there's a dude, there's a ninja that's dressed in red that recognizes Dick Grayson, and you're like, oh fuck, that's Jason Todd after the Lazarus Pit. But yeah, dude, Young Justice is incredible. I can't wait for the next season. That they're supposed to be doing Legion of Superheroes in season 4. Yeah, which is pretty dope.
So the next topic, rolling right in, still the DC Universe. Suicide Squad, the Rain trailer. So I guess it's called the Rain trailer because of the
There's
rain.
a lot of rain.
Yeah,
the rain.
Yep. Yeah. Real creative.
Here comes the rain again, killing everybody because it's acid.
Are y'all worried about this movie?
No, not even a little bit. I'm not. It's James Gunn.
I'm a little worried about this movie.
Why are you worried about this movie?
Because James Gunn is great, but the last Suicide Squad was not. And there's a lot of the same actors. Now, granted, I understand that the actors weren't the reason why Suicide Squad wasn't great. It was more of the fact that Enchantress was the main villain, which doesn't make any sense. And that everybody hated Jared Leto's Joker, but I actually love Jared Leto's Joker. I don't know, man. I'm nervous. Starro as the main villain.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to play out.
Well, from what I understand from the original Suicide Squad movie was that David Ayers, that was not his vision for that movie at all.
Right.
So there was studio interference, obviously, which brings me back to what I was talking about before with Warner Brothers clinging on to this old industry model for how to make movies and what it, you know what I mean? Like how to promote and bring in movies. It's kind of like the music business was years ago, like clinging on to this old model. Now, then they introduced like streaming where you could stream any artist, any song, anytime for $10 a month or however much, which essentially tanked the value of the music industry. So they are clinging on to this old school model of protecting their IP, which is somewhat understandable, but they have to figure out how to make it work for now, if that makes any sense. So as I was saying before, WB went through this week and then issued copyright strikes against a bunch of channels because the trailer was leaked by Margot Robbie, and was showing up as advertisements in front of YouTube videos.
Oh, shut
before
up.
It was officially released. So some YouTubers grabbed that advertisement and started reacting to it and commenting on it. And it's because it wasn't out officially, they got copyright strikes.
Damn.
Come on, WB. It's free promotion for an advertisement you were putting out within an hour. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Major League Baseball is the same thing, though, with clips of any baseball game. It has to be officially approved by the MLB. And to your point, it's counterproductive in a social marketing era, right? Yeah. Virality is what really sells your product. If it's gonna get, even if you had Margot Robbie accidentally release it, that's your best move. Like, play the fool. I'm like, oh man, shucks, I can't believe she released it. That Foxy Margot Robbie, she's out there doing no good. She really is our Harley Quinn, right? Like,
she was born to play Harley Quinn. Like, let's just put that shit out there. No one has played it better than her.
Right.
I mean, Kelly Cuoco.
Kelly Cuoco is really good as an animated Harley Quinn. I was just gonna say that. You beat me to it.
But no, I mean, I I mean, to your point though, Mahaffey, I think if they're going to give strikes, okay, that's fair. It's fine. You can do that if you want to, but it's counterproductive to what your end result really needs to be. And I think I told Dom this maybe first couple episodes. If I see a shit ton of advertisements for a film, whether it's online at 7-Eleven or wherever, historically that movie has bombed. Great example for me is and always will be the first Hulk movie. It was at Burger King and McDonald's, I think. It was everywhere. 7-Eleven had cups. They had little like characters everywhere. I'm like, dude, this is millions of dollars of advertising to shove the Hulk as uncontrollably and uncomfortably down your throat. I mean, you've all seen that GIF, you know what I'm talking about, with the Hulk and Black Widow, you know what I'm saying? Don't want to get banned.
No, but I want you to go into detail.
Accurately describe it for us, frame by frame.
The Hulk smiles.
Go.
Black Widow looks inquisitive. And then there's things happen. They
Speaking
seem
of
very
sex, did you hear about the Batman thing?
Oh yeah. No. So that actually,
heroes don't do that.
That actually folds into this story that I'm
bullshit. Heroes do that more.
So Zack Snyder released a tweet where he commissioned a drawing of Batman on Catwoman,
doing what Bernie's doing right now.
And WB issued a copyright strike against that photo on Twitter.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Against Zack Snyder.
I don't understand it. For how conservative Disney is, they don't do shit like that. But absolutely DC and WB's like, oh man, Batman wouldn't do that. Batman's a superhero.
Dude,
first of all, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
The animated movie with Batgirl hooks up with Batman. I mean, Batgirl and Batman, she pops her top, and they do it all nice on the roof.
You talking about the Killing Joke movie?
Yeah, she gets preggers.
Stupid.
That was a weird.
I don't even want to talk about it. I get it. They're doing it on the roof. Essentially, it's the picture that Zack Snyder commissioned. Only it's Catwoman instead of Batgirl. And her name is Catwoman. You have to do it.
Wait, what? I don't want to know.
What's that old joke? How do you eat your taco? Do you turn your head to the right, or do you turn your head to the left, and then
or do you flip it around and eat it from the back?
I just eat it this way because the thighs keep my head in place. Yeah, that's great.
Let's just gloss over the fact of what Mike said.
Anyway. So
video games.
Well, these few viewers are our wives. We're all getting shot tomorrow.
I was thinking about so when the Mandalorian season 2 was running, Rahul Kohli kept like tweeting hints that he may be Ezra Bridger.
Yeah.
And I thought at that moment I was like, this is good marketing. Like if he's actually Ezra Bridger, and I were Star Wars or Disney, I would let him do this. I would just say, hint at it. Do not come straight out and say it, but cause this like hubbub around the idea that maybe you're Ezra Bridger, and that's free publicity for us.
Yeah.
So like,
I don't understand why DC's bitching about Batman eating ass. Just let him do it. It's good publicity.
Now, granted, Rahul Kohli, who's amazing and I love him, probably isn't Ezra Bridger. I wish he were, but
he's too old at this point.
Well,
he looks old now.
Hey, man, he might be watching. Calm down. Think of his feelings.
That was 3 viewers.
He'll probably call me something mean on Twitter. That rhymes with runt.
But he'll follow up with an "I love you" because he's very sweet, apparently.
I love you.
Oh man!
But
awesome.
So at the end of the whole thing, with this whole DC thing, I'm excited for Suicide Squad. I'm concerned because it's a WB property. I loved Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. They were really great movies. I think they really kind of changed the pace for how DC managed, how those Marvel movies went. They were allowed to go a little crazy. I hope that he was allowed the same freedom because he had so much success with Guardians of the Galaxy. I hope he was afforded that same freedom with Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to pay that guy that much money, hopefully the studio's like, look, he took Guardians of the Galaxy and made it a phenomenon. who in their right mind as a kid knew about Star-Lord besides, geeks and kids of geeks?
Besides Mahaffey,
Nobody.
because he's a nerd.
But
Whoa.
but if you give that, like, if they want to reap any of the same benefits that Marvel got out of that, they really need to let James Gunn do what he does.
Agreed. Completely
To
agreed.
your point.
Completely.
Speaking of doing what they do, it's season 5 of Rick and Morty.
Love. Is that what Rick says?
Wubba Lubba Dub
I'm the
Dub.
one guy in this room that has not watched that show.
So,
dude.
Wubba Lubba Dub Dub is my ringtone for my wife.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's not the Imperial March or Flight of the Valkyries.
It is neither. It is Wubba Lubba Dub Dub.
Doesn't it mean
Mine's
like
the theme of the
I am
monster.
sad and I am lonely and dying inside or whatever?
I can't remember what it means. There's so much time between seasons of Rick and Morty that I need to go back and watch basically the previous 4 seasons again to get reacclimated.
I
love it, man.
Sure, I will love this show. I only know Rick and Morty from 3 things:
Szechuan sauce.
Szechuan sauce, the Run the Jewels music video,
Hey.
and because now I'm addicted to TikTok, they
You're
keep
welcome.
showing this ad where it's like Wall Street or like the boiler room where Morty is trying to sell stock to someone over the phone.
Hey,
And
man.
he's like, have I ever done you wrong? Imagine this stock is a beautiful redhead and her locker's two lockers down from you, bro. All right. I think I might be in.
It's what's great about that segue is that in episode 1 of season 5, we're introduced to Rick and Morty. They're on some escapade. They're coming back to Earth after they've basically just escaped through a wormhole that just closed. Their ship is hurtling towards Earth. It's on fire. And Grandpa Rick is passed out from all of his injuries. And Morty is trying to land the spaceship, but he lands in the ocean. Oh, my God, they're safe. Hey, Grandpa Rick, wake up. And all of a sudden, what's up, Morty? And he wakes up and he was like, oh, hey, we're safe, man. And he's like, where did you land us? You landed us in the ocean? He's like, which ocean? He's like, the one on Earth. He's like, God. And all of a sudden, this, Freddie Mercury looking ass dude shows up out of the water as Mr. Nimbus, King of the Sea. And he's evidently Rick's nemesis. So the whole episode is about this redoing a peace treaty between Nimbus and Rick. But really, the deeper story is about Morty finally coming to terms with that he loves this girl Jessica, who's a redhead, whose locker is number 221B, just down from his. And he calls her because his life is flashing before his eyes as they're crashing into Earth. And she agrees to watch a movie with him and hang out. And the whole episode it's great because there's this dinner treaty going between the adults in the room. And Morty, is just trying to get wine from another dimension where time moves more quickly. So you can throw wine into that dimension, shut the door in the dimension, the wine will age, become better, and then you can go back and pick it up. Well, there's a civilization on the other side that keeps seeing little Morty, and who happens to accidentally kill somebody every time he goes through the portal just to get some wine. And they just keep ramping up in jumps in history. So Game of Thrones turns into a normal kind of like present day civilization, turns into a futuristic civilization, and so on. It's antics ensue. It's great. But I got to say, I do love this outfit. And whoever designed this guy.
I thought that was fucking Namor.
I know. It looks like Namor.
He's basically Namor, except, also Freddie Mercury and David Bowie, just all in the one.
Marvel, take note, dude. That's what the Namor costume needs to look like.
And he can control police, which is just the thing. Oh, you can control police, yet, and they show up, and he's just like, fight each other, fuck each other, and then flee, and they just run away.
When he shows up on a like a chariot, like a sea chariot, on a wave,
like a procession.
Being drugged by dolphins in the street. When he gets off of his sea chariot, he has like 6 capes on. So when he's walking towards the house, he's flipping capes off his back. And when it shows the cops like flee, it shows all 6. Like, it's the writing on the show. And I'll circle back to this in a minute. But the writing on the show is so chaotic, but so concise at the same time. I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand how people can think in this way. And it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Fucking Dan Harmon, dude. My man wrote Community.
True. Very true. No, it's to your point. It's great because it quells my ADD. It also hits all my nostalgia buttons with all the old references. And essentially, Rick and Morty is the story of Doc Brown and Marty McFly, if they were related. It's fantastic.
Yeah, my dad loves Rick and Morty. Like my dad loves Rick and Morty. Like I haven't watched Rick and Morty, but my dad loves Rick and Morty.
You should just drop some random lines to him, like just dub, you know, just every once in a while. Oh man!
Also, can we just point out your impression game? Fuck, dude. Like he's done that a few times on this show where he'll be like, "Oh, it's like this guy," and then he'll just do that voice, and I'm like, it just takes me out of the show completely.
Your Rick is killing, man.
I tried to we talked about Dimension 20 earlier. I definitely that once that guy started doing voices, I was like, oh yes, this is what I need to bring to the show. So I just started introducing it a little bit more instead of trying to play it like stiff shirt. I loosen it up. This is me in all my glory. So we'll take it and leave it. Speaking of all of its glory, let's talk about something that ruined things, but also kind of opened things, but also kind of didn't ruin things. Whoever is talking about is that person. No,
are we talking about my anxiety?
Oh, let's go back. No, we're not skipping it.
Was that Joy?
Love. That was Joy. Yeah, she's going to bed. Putting the boys in bed.
Good night, Joy. Good night, boy.
Speaking, you mean you're not homeless, living in a shed with?
I'm still living in a shed, but there's a house attached to it that I don't get to be part of.
You're not allowed.
Yeah.
Are you in quarantine? Because of COVID?
Yeah, probably.
Got it.
Yeah.
Speaking
of
COVID,
not allowed in the big house.
Not allowed in the big house.
So Dom had this great suggestion. Let's talk about a little bit about COVID. I mean, we kind of talked about it in the first episode and just general, or whatever. But I really I think this is a good opportunity for the three of us to catch up and really digest how not just COVID has affected us personally, but also a little bit more about how it's affecting the gaming industry. Yeah. Now that we've gotten through a full-on year, the world's kind of opening back up again, except for the 15 other strands of COVID or whatever, COVID-19 27. But I really, to me, I want to kick things off with asking the question of what has improved with COVID, because I think what has improved is probably a longer list. But for me, the number one thing that improved for me was working from home, and as a result, I felt comfortable enough to buy a console for the first time in almost a decade. So that was awesome. Even my wife got into playing some games. She fell in love with Outer Worlds. That was awesome. Just the fact that she's playing a video game in general. B, there was a first-person kind of shooter, if you will. But also, I just love that space steampunky fucking Firefly-esque world and the storyline that goes along with it.
What about you, Mike? What improved for you?
I've worked remote for
years now.
Yeah, it'll be 5 years probably now, actually.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a big change, but what was a big change was I've worked with you guys for I've known you guys for so long. I'm a hardcore introvert. I don't like people around me. I don't like, part of the appeal to being a genius at Apple was the bar. I can talk. I don't mind talking to people. Protection. But as long as the people that are directly next to me are people that I know, I'm fine. And the people I don't know are a little further. So being able to go out to a grocery store fully masked and have 5 people in the grocery store was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I go out now and I drive down the road and I get cut off 6 times and within a 2-minute drive, and I'm like, I wish that the amount of people that died last year was terrible and awful. The traffic.
He's about to say something fucked up. I already tell. He's about to say something fucked up.
The traffic wasn't bad.
Go ahead.
No. It's not messed up. It's just,
But to be fair, you kind of wish you had a choice or a say in who died. You know what I mean? Let's everybody gets one pick, and then we vote, and whoever the top 10 are, public good.
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
Yeah,
I think that guy would be on a lot of people's list.
He run to Cancun immediately. I'm like, we planned this vacation before the vote took place. I can't believe. And yeah, I got to agree with you, man. The grocery store thing is probably my favorite, and it's favorite for a good reason and a bad reason. Favorite for a good reason is I didn't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to make eye contact or whatever. The bad reason I liked it was because early in COVID, my alcoholism just almost breaking that needle. So like going to the store, like, oh, I feel like I want some chicken nuggets and stuff like that, pizza. That mask kept all that beer breath in. Just like, oh, how are you tonight, sir? I'm doing great. How are you? Especially just self-checkout. I didn't have to talk to anybody.
There you go.
Boop, cookies. Boop, candy. Boop, Sour Patch. Not a sponsor.
So all in all, would you say you guys had a positive experience last year?
Oh, yeah.
For how fucked up everything was?
I will say that I think that it was positive, but the negative part of it for me was thinking like, I've got 2 little boys now, and their whole life now, they're never going to know life pre-COVID because COVID's not going away.
Right.
Like it is around forever now.
Right.
So we live in a world now that has another sickness that we're going to have to get vaccinated for probably every year.
Right.
Some sort of booster every year, like the flu shot.
Yeah.
So when you put it like that, when something's like world changing like that, it lets you realize how fragile everything is, which is,
dude, I'm with you, man.
Kind of a mindfuck.
Last year fucking sucked. Like, I mean, personally, I'm an extrovert. Y'all know me. I thrive around people. Being cooped up in home, as much as I love working from home, and I do, I really do. That was a huge hit. I mean, I had, 1 or 2 nervous breakdowns. I went on 4 or 5 different antidepressants, antipsychotics and everything. I mean, we lost a really close friend of ours, not to COVID, but during COVID, and we couldn't go to his funeral because of COVID. So, I mean, all of that. My wife worked the entire fucking pandemic and had to deal with the fact that people didn't want to wear masks and shit. And she was working in the food service industry, and like they stayed open. And like, hats off. I'll say hats off to my wife and anybody who did that. But like Ash didn't take the out. Like they were giving it out. They were like, you cannot work and we will pay you. And she was like, fuck no, I'm not gonna do that shit. I'm gonna stay. If there's gonna be a Starbucks, I'm gonna stay. Like she was like, I'm here. And I was like, more power to you, because I know that everybody you work with isn't gonna be like that. But there definitely was some positives. I mean, from the I would say the gaming side, gaming boomed last year. I mean, production got fucked up and things got delayed and pushed, but like look at like the community as a whole. Like games were prospering, communities were thriving and growing. I mean, I barely played shit, and I threw myself into Neo. We talked about it. I put like 800 hours into Neo 2, and I threw myself into Destiny 2, and I played Miles Morales, and I still play Destiny 2. Have I told y'all that I played Destiny 2? I bought a PS5 for it, even though it's for PS4. But no, I think that as the industry, we're still seeing the ramifications of COVID, but I traveled for the first time since things started opening up this week. Okay. I flew. All right.
How did you fly? What class would you say you might have been in?
Lord or peasant?
I flew coach.
On the way out.
On the way out. So on the way back, Lord or peasant?
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I fly first.
Lord.
Flying fucking sucks right now. Flying is terrible right now. They're back to full capacity on planes. Half the people aren't wearing masks because they don't want to. The other half are wearing masks and getting shitty about it. I'm fully vaccinated, but I still wear a mask just out of respect. And I didn't get sick last year. Obviously, something happened. Like, I mean, obviously something works.
The flu cases were down last year.
Yeah,
cold cases were down last year. I mean, the data doesn't lie. Anyway,
right? It's insane.
Hey, real quick, did you see the tweet from Stephen Amell that he got asked to leave a plane this week?
No,
because he was fighting with his wife.
They're chirping each other, having an argument.
And it calmed down, and they asked him to leave anyway, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll leave." And he got home like 8 hours later, or how
they left the wife, but he had to leave.
Yeah,
I'm sure the kid was with him, potentially, right? Like
potentially, I don't know.
He said he went from, I guess it was a Delta.
This is actually what happened. We're just fighting. It's something couples do. Like,
yeah, it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
A cat got loose on my plane.
What?
That's weird.
Like an actual cat. That's not a euphemism for someone fucking in the bathroom. A cat got.
I didn't think that. First of all,
can we Urban Dictionary that? A cat got loose on the plane. What is that?
It's the new Mile High Club. No, I was like, I thought I was drunk, which I might have been.
But you were.
Yeah, well.
But I'm like sipping my cocktail in first class. And I look to my left and I see something like move. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then I start looking around me and it starts dawning on me that people are out of their seats. Like mid-flight, people are out of their seats. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
What's changed?
So I like take out my AirPod and I'm like,
the seatbelt sign's on, everybody.
I was like, I'm that guy. I am that guy. You have the seatbelts on, signs on, sit the fuck down.
Stop smoking, sir. Yeah.
No, I'll smoke on an airplane. And I tap the guy and I'm like, hey, what the hell's going on? He's like, oh, a cat got loose. And I'm like, is that a euphemism for someone's in the bathroom? And he said, no, a cat got loose. And I was like a feline cat. I couldn't fucking wrap my head around.
Are you using like a slang term, sir, from the 70s?
Right.
Look at this cat over here.
What do you mean a cat? Like
you didn't tell me you were sitting next to like an elderly gentleman.
It was the elderly gentleman.
Oh, is it feral? Is it a feral cat?
Is this a Batman thing? What is happening? What do you mean? Is there a cat loose? And he was like, oh, yeah, there's a cat running around. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I just went back to my cocktail.
And just, I need two more.
Two more. Awesome. Yeah.
What were we talking about? COVID.
There you go. COVID.
Don't fly with cats.
COVID definitely. So I'll double down on what I said. I enjoyed COVID because I got to be home a little bit more, about a lot more. My job was remote. I didn't have to really branch out too much. All those plans that I used to, really get enjoyment out of breaking, I didn't even have to do that because no plans were made. The downside was beginning of COVID, my uncle passed away. The end of COVID, my father-in-law passed away.
Yeah.
Once again, and actually, like right after my father-in-law passed away, it was a year later we had the funeral for my uncle. So it's like those parts definitely fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Without getting too deep, obviously, Dom, I don't know what it is, buddy, but like I think every other episode we talk about death on this podcast. This is Joystick Maverick, not Joystick Murder, she wrote. Okay,
we don't have to. And Mike's in his 50s.
We're in our 30s.
Whoa!
I was gonna
shots fired. I'm not. I'm nowhere close to 50.
You're just shooting ricochets.
You're closer to 50 than you are 20, my friend.
So
yeah,
that's a 30-year span.
Brutal. Actually, yeah, in like less than a month, I'll be closer to the 50 than I am to 20. So F you in the face.
In the face.
In the face. But yeah.
Wait, are you older than me?
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah. I'll be 35. I'll be 35.
Oh yeah, y'all are old as fuck.
Yeah, the lighting I use is very strategic, so you can't see all the sparkling grays that are growing in.
I mean, I've just accepted it. Like I can't.
See, I like that you've got a solid grouping. I like that you've got.
I got called fucking patch. 40 this week, and I was fucking shut the fuck up.
Well, you got fucking Reed Richards side skirts on your head.
Oh, let's not stroke his ego. You got salt and pepper. I wouldn't say Reed Richards.
Did he just take those glasses off as a sexy, like, fucking damn right? Dude.
Like David Caruso.
Speaking of getting old,
I was mad as fuck. Oh, speaking of David Caruso?
Speaking of copyright strikes for that song, if we were to play that song.
Is it for what? From
it's the Who, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're definitely not playing that. Maybe we'll do it on the podcast. No, I'm just kidding. Speaking of getting old but still looking good, let's talk about Loki episode 2 and Loki episode 3 this week, because we got some. Look at these gray hairs on my man Owen Wilson. He's getting old.
He's aging like fine wine, dude.
Yeah.
Is that nose getting
Just like
or am I losing my mind? Oh,
it's pretty crooked, but it doesn't matter. He's killing it in the show. Yeah,
he's definitely killing the game. I would like to point out, so episode 2 of Loki kicks off. Basically, Loki has accepted his fate from episode 1. He has accepted a job at the TVA, helping the teams there find the other version or the other variant of Loki. And episode 2 really is around that whole premise, right? It starts out with Loki not really paying attention to training videos that he's supposed to be watching that are voiced by it's a little like hologram clock. Miss Minutes, yeah.
Tara Strong.
Yeah. Miss Minutes. Tara Strong, aka Tommy Pickles, aka Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls. Wicked famous. She still looks great too. She's also aging like a fine wine. But you know what I'm saying?
Tommy Pickles?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There's a cat on the plane. But anyway, so in this episode, Loki has accepted his fate. Now they're going out on a mission. But the very beginning of the episode starts with this random like Ren Fair scene from 1980 something. And a team of TVA agents show up because the variant has been found there. And the TVA team that shows up is basically disabled, and one of the TVA agents is kidnapped by this other variant, we're assuming, of Loki.
Yo, real quick.
Yep.
The easiest way to get me roped into a show is to play Bonnie Tyler. That's the easiest way.
That song, I Need a Hero, I think showed up 3 times last week.
That is
your life?
One of
in your life?
No. The Guardians of the Galaxy trailer.
Yes.
It was in something else, and then it was in this episode. I can't
remember. When the first little piano starts coming out, I'm in. I'm 100% in. Give me 80s girl rock, and I'm fucking in, bro. Bonnie Tyler's gonna have 100%. I'm fucking in, bro. I'm in.
Lita Ford.
I'm in. Hard. I don't give a fuck. I'm in.
No, so the episode continues on. Loki says, I'm in. They go, all of a sudden, they go right back to that Ren Fair. They try to figure out some clues, and antics ensue. This whole episode to me was enjoyable because Loki spent some time trying to do some research on the TVA. He's clearly, doing what Loki does. He's making his plan. His experience in the library is hilarious with the like super kind of like deadpan librarian. Like if they could have just swapped out that librarian actress for the actress from Ghostbusters, that would have been ideal.
That'd have been even
better.
Annie
Potts.
Yeah.
Who?
Annie Potts.
Annie Potts.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Those big old glasses, and she's just like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then him figuring out that this other Loki variant is hiding in what are they? Cataclysmic events, Armageddon,
apocalyptic,
right?
Yeah,
Apocalypses.
So I tried to figure out.
Confused with Dead Darkseid's planet.
Yes, also an MC, the DC apocalypse. But no, so what I noticed was Ragnarok. That event was considered like a Category 7 apocalypse, which I thought was kind of fucking weird because this next where they actually start tracking down the variant of Loki takes place in 2050. In some bum town, Alabama, to quote Forrest Gump. But so the huge hurricane, I guess, is going to wipe out all of this town in Alabama. There's a particular department store that I guess is all up in the Marvel Comics. It's like Rox Corp or Roxmart or something like that.
Roxxon.
There you go. And so they go to the supermarket store where this apocalypse taking place. But what I thought was weird was that Ragnarok, which basically almost decimated an entire species of people, was only a category 7, whereas this one was like a category 10.
It was a category 10. And it
I'm
was
just like,
yeah.
Why? But I would have to guess is that somebody somewhere, we talked about grasping at straws, right? Listening for keywords and then going like this plus this equals that. Mephisto. Somebody was saying how in the comics, I think it's Kang the Conqueror is fighting, I think, the X-Men. And it takes place in 2050 off the coast of Alabama. So they are saying that all this wicked big storm is actually from that battle, and they think it's Storm causing the hurricane that takes.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
cool.
so
that's
a cool segue. I mean, but that would be the dopest dope way of kind of needling in the X-Men into the universe.
Oh, dude,
just a little bit. Same thing with the boss of Owen Wilson's character, Mobius, is actually introduced. And she says she's got another analyst on the side, which a lot of people are believing to also be King the Conqueror. So that would be another place where those two cross over. And then finally, Mobius. There's also a scene where Loki is just reading like a jet ski magazine, which, according to Mobius, you took my magazine. So you start to wonder, why would Mobius have a magazine of jet skis from the 1990s? That seems fucking weird.
And drink Josta from the 90s.
Also from the 90s.
Yeah. So there's a theme there, which is crazy. Episode 2 there was a lot going on in that episode.
The Pompeii scene was pretty dope.
Yeah, the testing of the theory of being in an apocalyptic event and not sprouting a branch into the timeline.
Yeah,
awesome.
My favorite bit is like the internet went wild. They're like, oh, here it is, 2021. Owen Wilson's in Pompeii. What was it like for Owen Wilson in 2014? And it goes back to Night at the Museum, part 2, where him and that Roman soldier are running from the fake model of Pompeii's volcano erupting.
I just love that they're just letting Owen Wilson be Owen Wilson in this show. Like, he's just like, when he gives him the two choices, he's like, why are you doing this? He's like, I'm gonna give you 2 choices. One, I see a sad little boy that I feel sorry for. Or 2, I just want to catch this guy and I'll tell you anything.
I think what stood out to me from Owen Wilson, I think it was in this episode, maybe it was the first episode actually, where they're talking about how smart Loki is. And he's like, you think you're smart, don't you? He's like, I am smart. He's like, yeah, you're smart. And he keeps going. And I'm like, just something so subtle as like, prodding, and then being like, okay, let's just move on. I was like, this is
that might carry over to this scene where they're in the tent, and like Loki's doing this whole bit where he's like, I know what's gonna happen, blah blah blah, and then like he's in it, and then like he comes up to him and he's like, yeah, he's lying.
There's a lot of. I don't know if we want to wait until episode 3 to talk about speculation about like what's going on, but
let's talk about episode 3.
I'm assuming we've seen episode 3.
Yeah, I watched
absolutely.
both of them today. Okay, just to make sure that I was prepared for the show.
Thank you. Just appreciate it. Doing your job. Doing that. So episode 3 kicks off right where episode 2 ended, which was the variant, and Loki come to fisticuffs in a sense. The variant is temporarily controlling other human beings through what seems like some green-colored fueled magic. And finally, the variant shows up, rocking what looked like Loki horns, one missing, one not. And there's a detonation of time devices where these little time bombs that have been used historically in the show up to this point, episode 1 and the beginning of episode 2, that actually eviscerate any kind of people or things in the area to reset the timeline, are quickly dropped through these little time portals. And then we can start to see on these handheld devices that the golden timeline is very quickly deteriorating and breaking into branches, which right there, I have a question. And I think somebody, I couldn't give anybody credit. So whoever said it, good for you. Thank you. But if there's only one golden timeline, or one true timeline, then how did Doctor Strange see 14,065 versions of the outcome of the impending apocalypse?
I don't think the TVA is what they seen at this point, because a lot of shit happened in episode 3. Like, I mean, you have the whole revelation that the TVA is just variants. Like,
yes.
Okay, so like something's going on there. And I'll tell you what, man. Sylvie, I think is what she's calling herself.
Yep.
I have never in a show or a movie have wanted to know the backstory of somebody more than her right now. She is such a compelling character. I don't get it. Like, I'm just like, fuck. And then episode 3 ends on a huge cliffhanger, and I'm like,
it's not even a cliffhanger. It ends like in the middle of a sentence. It took 30 to 45 seconds for me to realize the episode was over. It like cut to the credits, and I was like,
damn it. Like, is this
where they're gonna cut it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the show actually picks up them running through the portal to the TVA. Loki's now chasing, he's assuming his Loki, and she's just crushing everybody in the path. Her fighting style reminds me of this Loki, where it's very kind of quick and there's a little bit of magic. But to your point, the story picks up where the TVA agents show up. They're about to capture him before they can go up this golden elevator to where we're assuming the time lizards or whatever live.
Timekeepers.
There you go. The timekeepers live. And so then they drop through a portal onto Lamentus 1, which is in the year 2077. The moon is next to it, or this Lamentus 1 is a moon, and the planet next to it is now crumpling. And as it's crumpling, I would like to point out that it kind of looks like a giant Pac-Man mouth.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Definitely.
But little meteors are blasting all over the planet. This is another apocalyptic event that was stored on the device because, of course, the variant, it was the variant's device. So all these different apocalypses are planned out. And we find out that this is Loki, but doesn't like to be called Loki. Instead wants to be called Sylvie. And she is pissed because the little time transporter thing is out of juice, and our buddy Loki has zapped it out of existence into his chest, supposedly. And antics ensue. So here they are on this dining cart of a train trying to get out of the basically destruction zone of this moon, heading towards this Ark ship that supposedly is going to get off the planet. But they already know their history. That thing's never making it off, but they decide that because it didn't have 2 Lokis last time, maybe they can change history and their golden timeline just a little bit more.
This scene on the train was incredible. It was so good.
This singing and dancing, and like they're back and
everything.
Forth.
I don't get it, man. Like these characters. So, and I said this about Bucky Barnes in Winter Soldier. Yo, Marvel has done an exceptional job with giving these villains, like these insanely good stories. And you know, the big thing from this one was them confirming that Loki was bisexual, and they did it in this really subtle way, which was really cool. You know, and then you have everything when he starts talking about his mother, like that. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, and you know, when he's looking through the things and he sees Asgard, the Ragnarok happening, he sees that and he starts crying.
What's it called? Asgard?
Asgard. I was thinking Korg. Or no, what's his name? The Master. But yeah, the singing, like very reminiscent of Thor, like him acting like his brother. You know, I just, what a good like whole segment of that show. I was really stoked to see that.
Well, to circle back to a previous conversation, the showrunner for the show is an ex-producer for Rick and Morty.
Oh, maybe I'll watch Rick and Morty.
And
awesome.
Marvel has sniped Rick and Morty writers for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Oh, that's awesome.
The showrunner for She-Hulk is an ex Rick and Morty writer, and the showrunner. I have it written down. Hold on. I should know this off the top of my head, but I do not. Sorry, Michael Waldron.
That's the show for us, so don't worry.
Michael Waldron, who's the showrunner for Loki, is writing Doctor Strange in the
multiverse. Nice. That's awesome.
So all this, so the quality of writers coming out from under Dan Harmon is incredible.
Yeah,
incredible. And
I don't know.
There was a rumor that
they had there, but keep doing it.
Oh yeah, there's a rumor that Dan Harmon was going to offer Michael Waldron to be the showrunner for season 5 of Rick and Morty, and he was like, "I actually have a meeting with Marvel, so let's see what that's about first."
Right.
And Dan Harmon put his hair back in a ponytail and said, "Fine, I'll do it myself."
I'll do it myself.
No, this show is awesome, and what I really like about this ending sequence that I think we would definitely agree was an epic moment where they go, "Can I trust you? Yes, you can trust me, and you should." And they start trying to get to the Ark ship once they've arrived. It's the end of the road, basically. Still meteorites exploding. That the Pac-Man planet is going that much closer. Bigger meteors now. And it's all this. It's not necessarily one shot. There's definitely breaks in the scene, but this kind of follow them through different buildings. And I have come to enjoy that camera movement or that camera work pretty tremendously. But my favorite thing is that they have really given Loki back his bigger powers of magic, whereas previously
he's not the building. What the hell?
Yeah, Loki's got telekinesis, right? We've seen it before where he grabbed an iRobot vacuum to hit one of the variants. In episode 2, he's used it before in some of the movies, but a whole fucking building.
Yeah, I thought someone else did it.
Oh, really?
Because you don't see, she looks back. He's not doing anything because you just see the back of his head. And the building stops. And
he just kind of I don't know, Naruto runs at it.
Would you think that maybe the building stopped and went back in time? Because remember in episode 1 when he found the Infinity Stones in the drawer, he picked up a time stone.
I mean,
you think he pocketed it?
I think he would pocket any of those.
Would that be?
At the same time, I mean, even Thanos had to have a turning gear move to activate it. Now, if we go back and all of a sudden he's spinning his hands, in that moment. But I mean, we've seen him just toss chairs across the room when he was in his little jail cell in Dark Thor or Thor Dark World, whatever it was. So, but I mean, that's a building, and all the dust seemed to back up too.
The Magneto effect. If you read the comic books, Magneto can move fucking continents with his powers. He lifts Genosha and up out of the water.
True.
And in the movies, for the most part, up until when the last X-Men movie with McKellen and the last X-Men movie with Fassbender, you didn't really see him use his powers like that. So I mean, maybe Loki is just super dope. Maybe it's Mephisto.
I mean, it sounds like it's just Mephisto. Which, by the way, you can't tell me that now I think these are being filmed at the same time. So, people are saying Mephisto for WandaVision and all that jazz. But then and correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Mephisto have horns? Isn't he a red devil looking thing?
He is a red devil looking guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're at the first episode. They're at the church. Owen Wilson speaking one of the infinite languages they all know at the TVA, and there's a whole stained glass window with red horn devil looking thing. Now, granted, it's a church; it could be the devil, but is that not going to try to elude people who are like, "Oh my God, it's Mephisto!" right away, or is that just a little gag, these idiots?
I think somebody came out to talk about that specifically, and they were like, "Look, we know what it looks like." But the kids saw Loki with the horned helmet on and a green outfit on. If you look at the stained glass window, the devil in that window has a green robe on too. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think Marvel learned their lesson. I think they want to generate a certain type of buzz when it comes to their shows, but the full-on Mephisto train that was going on with WandaVision, I think they want to avoid at all costs.
Look,
yeah.
Here's my theory. Okay.
Tell me. Talk to me.
Are we going to speculation now?
Lady Loki.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Sylvie.
We've exhausted this picture. It's my last one anyway. So
When she
they're
drops
dead,
all of the time things through the portals, that's how mutants are created.
Okay.
I'm calling it.
I know that recently in an X-Men issue, I think it was X-Men something issue 21, because they restarted a run, I guess. Kevin Feige shows up in a panel, and he's talking to Scott Summers, basically pitching the story of the X-Men to Kevin Feige. And that's supposed
true?
to be, yeah. Google it.
That's awesome.
Take your time, pull it up. It was awesome when I saw it. I didn't read it. Somebody showed it online. I fucking flipped through the whole thing. I was like, oh my God, this is great. Maybe that's kind of the little bit of sharing. And maybe this is a way for this perfect timeline to kind of be rewritten, and then we get mutants out of it. Fantastic Four potentially out of it. All these other things that have been kind of like not existent.
Yo, Scott Summers is a G, dude. Cyclops?
Have you seen his new visor? It's not his like.
Yeah.
It's like a whole face mask.
Cool.
That ruby red visor. Whoa.
The coolest panel that ever Cyclops was ever in. The coolest panel. Astonishing X-Men. Joss Whedon's run. He's running the Xavier Institute because Xavier's dead.
Right. With Emma.
Sentinels show up and start attacking the school. And Wolverine's fighting them off. The X-Men's are fighting it off. And Scott jumps out a window and he's like, I've had enough of this shit. And just takes off his glasses. And the next panel is red. And he's like, get off my lawn. And all you see is just devastation from the Sentinel.
And
I'm
he
like,
drives off in a
Cyclops
Gran
is a
Torino. Him and Clint Eastwood just into the sunset.
Cyclops is a G.
Get off my lawn.
Pretty much. It was like, get off my lawn. Takes the glasses off.
That's awesome.
Just his fucking sunglasses off and just blasts us. It was fucking sweet, dude.
I thought you were going to tell me it was your favorite with him in it because it was just a red blob. There's no Scott Summers in it at all. It's just red.
No, dude, I love Cyclops.
I think my favorite
Marvel's Capcom 2.
My favorite exchange between them, I think it might have been like right before the House of M run. It might have been like the Ultimate Universe. Like Wolverine is clearly just hooked up with Jean Grey, and now Jean Grey is back with Scott, and they're having a little tiff about it. And he's like, Logan, if you ever want to go at it, we can go at it. He's like, all right, how about right now? Snick it, out come the claws. And he goes, he turns around and just blasts him down. And like the next panel is like Wolverine just in a heap. It's all fucked up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's great.
Actually, it's sweet, dude. I can't wait for them to join the MCU.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be incredible. So I think for this third episode, the reactions that I've seen were that people felt like this was a filler episode.
Yeah,
which is fine. Is fine because like not every episode can be balls to the wall. Like I think maybe it was Michael Waldron or maybe it was somebody else said something to the effect that the next two episodes are going to be off the chain, like action wise. So
they come out on Wednesdays.
It comes out on Wednesdays. So when you're looking at the full narrative of the story, you need to pace it a little bit. You can't just sprint to the finish line. So I don't think it didn't feel to me like a filler episode.
No, there was so much character building with Sylvie and him. Like I thought it was great.
So that conversation they had about her powers of enchantment, and he said, "How did you learn how to do that?" She's like, "Oh, I taught myself." She tried to enchant him. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. She like.
Do you think she actually succeeded? And this whole scenario is.
Well, she says he basically she makes him live in a memory, right?
Right.
He doesn't seem to remember Lamentus 1.
But she does. So do you think he actually can enchant people and enchanted her? So the flip.
Maybe. I'm curious.
Do you think that she's actually Polaris?
They cancel each other out.
Because she
Polaris
does green powers, just like Polaris.
Just like
Loki.
She's Magneto's
So does
daughter.
Enchantress, though, right?
Yeah.
And
I think she's Polaris.
And you said Polaris is Loki's daughter?
No, Polaris is Magneto's daughter. I'm just being an asshole.
So is Enchantress, who is she related to?
She's
Not
the
DC
main villain of the
character,
Suicide
not the
Squad.
DC. No, fuck that one. Isn't there a character called Enchantress?
Yes,
there is.
Marvel?
I think
Is she
her real
related
name's
to Loki?
Sylvie.
Okay, yeah. So I feel like they've already kind of dicked over Loki in having any children so far anyway. I mean, that huge wolf thing from Thor Ragnarok is technically Loki's son in
I
Norse
believe
mythology.
I believe that Hela is also his daughter in Norse
Right.
mythology.
Yeah, so he's
Yeah.
totally been snipped. But at least they gave him,
Do they give
now,
Asgardians vasectomies?
if they use the same scissor tool that cut Thor's hair, I think that's how that works.
Ah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, I think I'm interested to see. I would love this to be a spin. It's like, oh, I hate that name. It's not because it is my name and I'm no longer my name. It's actually because it's my dad's name. And fuck that. And I don't have glimpses of my mom because of whatever. But it's. I think there's a degree of like story twisting that we as viewers, especially in the Marvel Disney world, that we can take. But like completely like, hey, this is the story, and it sounds like we just made some shit up, and that was the story, is never going to fly. Right?
Sure.
But I don't
When have we ever been right? Is the question. Like, has there been an instance where we were like, okay, we called it?
You mean as us as a fandom?
Yeah, as a fandom.
Endgame, the title of the movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Remember that was a secret for a
Yeah.
long time, and the Russos came out basically and lied and said this word has never been uttered in the history of any of the MCU films.
Right.
And that's
for
literally a
Infinity
direct
War.
quote from the previous movie
Yeah.
where Doctor Strange says we're entering the Endgame now.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing, I think, is this build up to the actual villain. I don't think Sylvie's the actual villain. And I don't think the TVA is the actual villain. Whoever is the timekeepers or keeper,
right,
is probably going to be the actual villain. And did you guys end up watching that featurette that came out today?
I did
about
not.
Sylvie.
Ran out of time.
There were a couple scenes from the next episode. One where a TVA agent escorts a young Sylvie through a time TVA door, like a 6 or 7 year old Sylvie. So when she says she's been running from the TVA her whole life, that's apparently where it starts.
Quite literally
where it starts. So
that's awesome.
I think that what we're seeing is like she has been running from the TVA for her whole life. They were getting ready to reset a child so that this idea that the timekeepers are benevolent is out the window.
Yeah.
Because they're brain wiping all of these variants to act as their police force.
You just did it, man. You broke my brain. So if they're escorting a little girl out through the portal, we see that. Do we see who is escorting her?
I don't think so. I think it's just a downward shot to the little girl playing Sylvie.
I got a 5 spot on it. I think it's Mobius escorting her out because let's go back a little bit.
Dude.
When he said, I'll say one of two things. Either I see a scared little boy run, or I'm going to say anything just to get you to do what I want. I think the scared little boy is an allusion back to her as a little girl.
And he said on multiple. He said in a previous episode that he knows everything about Loki.
Dun dun dun.
And
you might be right. I would love it.
You heard it first. I like Owen Wilson. He ain't allowed to be a dick.
Well, I don't think he's a dick. I don't think he knows. I think he may potentially know what's going on, and is subverting the timekeepers through his actions.
Makes sense to me.
But we were talking about how many secret timelines there are. There are definitely multiple secret timelines. That's why we have multiple Lokis in the first episode. You know, the visions of the Hulk Loki and the soccer player Loki. So I don't know how many timelines there are, but there are definitely multiple timelines. At least that's what the story is set up.
I just want to say, like, the coolest thing about this show was that Loki was DB Cooper. That was so funny.
You guys have no idea how over the past year during COVID, my dad's done nothing but like watch the History Channel and play golf by himself. And he called me one time, Ernie, you know about DB Cooper? And I'm like, no, Dad, I don't. He's like, you got to watch this episode on History Channel. And you know what I did? And I enjoyed the shit out of it. So to see him
DB Cooper did
come out as DB Cooper, that was awesome. I was just like, okay, that would make sense why the plane jostled because he jumped out of the plane. and then of course gets called off by the Rainbow Road.
Yeah. DB Cooper, you mean the guy who played Amenadiel in Lucifer?
No, that's BD Wong. That's the guy.
That's not BD
Wong.
Wong. It's DB Woodside, you dummy.
That's a different.
Did you watch that season of Lucifer? We need to talk about that at some point.
Later.
I'm on season 2. I'm watching as Michelle falls asleep and my baby continues to wake up right at 1 a.m. for another feeding. So I just watch 2 or 3 episodes at a time.
Of Lucifer?
That's
Tom Ellis is hot.
That. I'm assuming that's Lucifer.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that Tom Welling showed up in the show now, like Smallville Superman. I'm assuming he's going to be like Gabriel or Michael or some shit in the future, but
you'll find out.
You'll find out.
Nice. He's God. What if God was one of us? I digress. But hey, any other topics closing it out? I said that I mentioned earlier today to you guys, hey, if I miss anything or you bring some stuff up if we missed, please. Oh, who has some details on John Boyega's abrupt exit from Netflix's Rebel Ridge? I want to know what happened there as our bonus round for this episode.
So the quick story, because I didn't have time to read the whole article. Basically, he had to abruptly leave set. The studio saying it was for family reasons, but the rumor is that it's not for family reasons. So the speculation around that, I'm not sure. I don't know if like something went sideways on set. I'm just glad it was not Attack the Block 2 that he walked out on.
Yo, Attack the Block was so good. I know.
Good.
I'm so glad it wasn't that.
As soon as I read that, I was like, please, God, don't let him quit Attack the Block 2.
I was going to say, Attack the Block 2 is still in production, right?
I don't know if it even started production yet. Okay. I think it just got announced.
Yo,
that first one was great. Nick Frost is like a drug dealer. So awesome.
We did with Nick Frost on big. We missed something real big, guys. Fucking
Shang-Chi
Transformers 7.
Oh,
Beast
yeah.
Wars.
Beast
Wars. Maximals. Oh, man. Predacons. Dude, I grew up on Beast Wars. That's my shit, dude.
I used to watch Beast Wars at 6 a.m. before getting on the bus at 7:20 to go to school. Beast Wars. I remember when things got weird. Went from like Transformers are actually Beast Wars Transformers, and then they found Optimus Prime in a cave towards later seasons, and like, oh, now we're half Beast, half also Transformers again.
Transmetals, bro. Fucking
Transmetals.
Megatron turns into a dragon, dude. He was a T-Rex from the beginning. Fuck, dude. He's the only one whose name didn't change, which is ridiculous. Like Optimus Prime is Optimus Primal, and then you got like Cheetar and Rat Trap and shit,
gorilla.
Dude. Yeah, boy. Hell yeah.
He turns into a fucking dragon, boy. I'm gonna get that shit as a ringtone, Dom.
Yo, that shit is dope. I love Beast Wars. I'm all about it. Also, Anthony Ramos is in the new Transformers. The light-skinned Puerto Rican guy from In the Heights and in Hamilton. Big fan of him.
Who do you play in Hamilton?
John Lawrence and Hamilton Jr.
Okay.
He can sing too, man. Y'all need to watch In the Heights to get some culture in your life. I just want to say that to you guys.
There's a lot of backlash for that movie.
It's because they didn't cast enough Afro-Latino people because it takes place in Washington Heights and Dominicans are dark. I get it. All right? You can't win them all at this point. Shit. Just be happy that we have that, all right?
We got another show coming up called
pissed off about that. Okay?
Race Relations with Dominic Irvin.
No, like, come on, man. I'm part of y'all.
Every Friday.
Palante, man. I'm like one of the people. I get it, dude. Like, I understand. I'm Black and Latino. Like, I get that. I understand Afro-Latinos need representation, and then it's not great. But like, not everything in this world has to have like the story that he told was great. It was a great story. It was about. You know what? Oh, we just gonna do this? Nah, man. I'll get off my soapbox.
No, man. I want to hear it. You're the resident hybrid on this crew, so I want to know all that you got going on.
Oh, speaking of hybrid, Sweet Tooth, I'm on episode 4.
Yes. I haven't seen it. I thought I boycotted this show because I thought it was an origin story for Twisted Metal, but it wasn't.
Oh shit!
Nah, man. Look, We're starting to get some recognition. Let's not fucking shit on someone who's still trying to do it. You know, like we're starting to get recognized.
Didn't Lin-Manuel Miranda even come out and say, "Yeah, you're right.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. I get it, but like, we don't need to keep demonizing the guy. Like,
I agree. I agree. He's done a lot of incredible work for
Larry David,
minority, communities. Like the work he did for Puerto Rico after the hurricane.
Yeah,
like he's like, an incredible person. Yeah.
All right. He's like one guy that, like, maybe you don't have to be an asshole to because he didn't put enough dark-skinned Latinos in the film. I get it. I got a lot of family that are dark-skinned Latinos. Were they underrepresented? Yes, but like,
baby steps.
Fucking goddamn, dude.
He'll
That's like the one thing I get really angry
in the Heights Part 2. Well, we'll just wait for the sequel, In the Heights Part 2. That's the thing, right?
We got Spider-Man now. That's all that matters.
When they reboot In the Heights, they'll just switch it up.
Right. It'll just be West Side Story. Which is what In the Heights kind of is.
Yeah.
Is West Side Story.
Awesome. Well, with that, we got 3 people here that are bringing episode 10 to a close. As you noticed, there were no sponsors this episode. I will always say that how tough it is to get sponsors. It is tough. It's hard work. It's TUFF tough to get a sponsor to sponsor the show. But I'm going to keep working at it. I'm going to keep hitting the gym. I'm going to keep putting the time in. I'm going to keep taking my supplements, maybe wearing some T-shirts and putting on some gear. I don't know. Maybe I'll worry about things that are tough later. But not this time. But thanks, everybody. Again, you can check us out on joystickmaverick.com. We're on social on Instagram at Joystick Maverick, Facebook Joystick Maverick, Twitter Joystick Mav, because they wouldn't let us get the whole name in there. On Twitch, official Joystick Maverick, because some jerk off from 9 years ago took Joystick Maverick, but too bad he didn't get the URL in your face. But yeah, I'm Ernie Hawkins, Ernie UXD on social.
I am Dominic Irvin, El Dizza on social.
And I'm Mike Mahaffey, Mike_whatever on Twitter. That's really the only social media that I check.
Awesome. Well, thanks
other than TikTok, but I don't put anything on TikTok.
I don't even know what my username is on TikTok.
I don't know either.
I followed you on TikTok for no reason, though. I now need to follow Mahaffey on TikTok. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.